What's up, body people, and welcome back to my channel. So today's video is all about the brand spanking new Sephora single eyeshadows. So these are called the colorful eyeshadows. These are $8. These are reformulated and repackaged. Here's what the old packaging used to look like. I'm sure you guys saw them all the time, but they just came out with 80 shades. 80 shades. That's a lot. Now, I'm not really sure how many of these are brand new shades. They may be just reformulated old shades, but there are 80, and they have glitters, mattes, and shimmer finishes, which is amazing. I got 10 of them. I really wanted to test the waters, and I wanted to try all the different finishes and stuff and give you guys my thoughts. I've only worn these once, so this is kind of like a second impressions, but I feel like eyeshadows are one of those things that you really don't change your mind about. Like, it's not like they're gonna start working differently or anything. Like, first impressions are pretty on point with eyeshadows. But a really incredible, innovative quality to this packaging is the fact that it basically depots it for you. If you haven't depotted an eyeshadow before, you don't know the struggle. And I don't know if you guys can see it, but there are two little divots right there at the bottom. But you can actually, like, if you just pull it apart from the top, I have no nails right now, and the tips of my fingers are so sensitive, but it comes out. The single shadow is right there. It just comes apart so easily. There's no glue. It's just held in there. Just like that. So you can actually use it like a compact. It's in there, like it's not gonna fall out or anything. It's two completely different compartments in there. Or you could just pop out the bottom and go. It's so cool. So first what I'm gonna do is go through and swatch each shade and kind of give you guys my initial impression and what I think about the pigmentation and stuff, and then we'll actually get into the demo and how they apply and blend out in the pigmentation on the eyes with a brush. And I'm not gonna do an entire eyelid today. I just don't feel like doing that. I feel like you get the point by me just actually applying each shade, and I'm just gonna try to use all the shades today. Like I'm not gonna try. I am gonna use every single shade, so I don't know how the look's gonna turn out, so it's probably gonna be something I'm gonna end up taking off as soon as I'm done. And I'm also not gonna do a wear test just because I feel like the longevity of shadows really depends on how good your primer is. And with a good eyeshadow primer, these wear just as well as anything else. So first, let's do all the glitter. So I have 4 glitters here. So the first shade I have is the one I was most excited about, and it came completely cracked and busted and just shattered into little bits and pieces. So this is in the shade Ballet Shoe. So once again, this is a glitter shade. Yep, there it is. It's a catastrophe. So this is just your typical like white champagne shade. It looks kind of chunky right there, but I feel like that's just because it's all cracked up and stuff. I feel like this is one of the prettiest ones, and it's actually one of the most pigmented ones. So it's got a really high shine reflectiveness to it. So once again, that is Ballet Shoes. Next glitter I have is in the shade Girl Talk. And this one's kind of like a pinky champagne with silver sparkle. And the sparkle in this one, I don't know how the other one would look if it were actually pressed, but the sparkle in this one looks very, very chunky, and this one looks really dry. Like, it doesn't look as pigmented. There's what Girl Talk looks like, and it's definitely not as reflective and high shine as the other shade. The glitter is so chunky, and it's like they're very large particles. Actually, this one kind of has more like a rose gold vibe to it, not really a pinky champagne. It's kind of like a really light rose gold. The next glitter shadow is the shade What Happens in Vegas, and this one's a little bit more golden. And again, the chunks of sparkle is very present. And this one feels a lot like the one that I just showed you, Girl Talk. So I feel like if Ballet Shoes, which is the first one I showed you, I feel like if that one were pressed, it would probably be the exact same story. So here's what Happens in Vegas looks like. Yeah, it's pretty. It kind of has like a coppery like undertone to it, but I would say this is just a straight up light gold. The last one I have is in the shade Unicorn Dust. Unicorns. And this one looks a lot like MAC Blue Brown or Makeup Geek Insomnia. It kind of has that kind of vibe to it. Like, it kind of looks like a brown with a purple and teal iridescence to it. So I've been swirling my finger into this for like 20 seconds already, and that's all I've got. And there is a bit of, there's quite a bit of shine to it, but I feel like it shows up more on camera. Like, when I turn it like this, I can see the undertone to it, like the iridescence to it, which is really pretty. But in person, it's very dry, not pigmented at all. It's very smooth, I will say that. So yeah, there is Unicorn Dust. Okay, moving on to the shimmers, I only have 2. So the first one I have is in the shade Morning Freshness. Like a light taupey champagne kind of color. Same kind of thing, like this is not very pigmented. These are pretty dry. Like, it just looks like a satin finish. I wouldn't even consider that to be a shimmer. So yeah, that one is Morning Freshness. And then the other one I have is in the shade Tiramisu. And this one's like a darker bronzy brown. And again, it looks like a satin finish. Like, I don't really know why they lying. It's just kind of dull, kind of boring. Moving on to the mattes, these are what I was most excited about. So the first shade I have is the shade Golden Marshmallow. So this is like a very light, muted, kind of dusty dusty pink in a way. So here's what it looks like when you swatch it. This one is more pigmented than the other ones, and I get a lot more out of my swatch. So there's what that one looks like. You can probably barely see it. It's just like, it's almost like a skin tone color with a little bit of a stronger, like muted pink undertone to it. So I thought this would be a really pretty shade to use for like mauve or pink eye looks. Moving on to the next matte. This is in the shade, oh my God, it's in French. Ciao à la crème. Ciao à la crème. I'm not really sure. Here's what the back looks like. I don't know if you can see it. Everything I'm talking about will be listed below, by the way. Just like a taupey kind of grayish. It almost has like a purpley undertone to it. And again, kind of the same story. I mean, I feel like this one feels just like that other one we just now swatched. You can definitely see the purple undertone more when I swatch it on my hand. But again, the pigmentation isn't extravagant. Like, it's not super pigmented. These are definitely not ones that you'd have to be super careful with. Like, they're not going to start out too intense. And then I have the shade My Dear Nude. And I would call this a cool toned tan kind of shade. And again, same pigmentation. It feels the same as the other matte so far. So there's what that looks like. Not super pigmented. So there is My Dear Nude. And the last shade I have is a black. This is in the shade Black Lace. So this one is a lot smoother and a lot more pigmented than the other ones. Like, this one is pretty black. And I did use this the other day to like kind of I used it as an eyeliner, and it worked pretty well. So yeah, those are the matte shades. But we're gonna go ahead and go in, and I'm gonna set my eye primer with the Golden Marshmallow shade, which is that almost skin tone kind of pinky shade. We're just gonna see how that looks. So there's what it looks like when you set it. So it really doesn't look any different than my skin tone. Like, it just kind of looks like my eyelids canceled out and just kind of mattified a little bit. Like, it doesn't look chunky or chalky or dry or anything. Like, it looks very smooth. It's just very hard to build up. Like, this is like 5 dips into the pan. So not super pigmented, but doable. So I really want to use the Unicorn Dust shade because I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to be drawn to this one. So I'm going to try it with a brush first. If that doesn't work, we'll wet it. If that doesn't work, we'll use it with my finger. Oh wow, just as I expected, non-existent. So this is the third layer, and there's very little color payoff. Like, it almost looks like there's nothing any different being done. So the translation is not very good. Let's try wetting my brush now. So here's what it looks like wet. Okay, when you wet the brush, I can see it more. It's definitely more intense. It definitely looks more metallic and stuff, but it's still not like bam in your face. It's very subtle, but I feel like the effort and the work that goes into it is just not worth it. Like Makeup Geek Insomnia or MAC Blue Brown, which I haven't tried, or the Wet n Wild Comfort Zone palette with that really pretty bluish, tealish, brownish shade in it. So much better than this. Like, this has been done a lot, so this is not one that I would pick up if I were you guys, even though it does work better with like wetting your brush. I just don't feel like all the work is really necessary when you have really good shades out there that do look good. Okay, so on this side, I'm gonna go into this one right here. This is in the shade Girl Talk. So this is the one that I think was more like a rose gold. Yeah, this is the one that had a little bit more like a coppery undertone to it. Same story, not a lot of color payoff when it's dry. Like, looks like I did nothing right there. So I already know how this is gonna go. Let's wet the brush. Oh yeah, you can see it a lot better. But I'm going to tell you, the new L'Oreal Crushed Foils, these are so much better than the glitters. Okay, so there's what it looks like after a few layers. We're looking at this half, like the outer half of my eyelid. It's not bad. It's not horrible. I'm going to try to apply it with my finger now and see how that applies. Okay, these actually do work pretty well with your finger. So wetting your brush or using your finger. But I will say with your finger, it does look a lot drier. It doesn't look as reflective and shiny. There is glitter all over my face. It is not coming off. Like, it's not even budging. Like, I don't even see it on the fingers where I'm trying to wipe it off. And it makes it look like a unicorn threw up all over my face. We'll save the other one, What Happens in Vegas, which is a more golden one, for this side. Let's go over to this side now and work on all the mattes, because I have like 4 or 5 mattes here. Okay, so I'm going to go in first with My Dear Nude, which is the lightest tan shade. I feel like this would be a good crease transition. We're just going to put this... Oh, I didn't set the eyelid. I didn't set it. We're just going to keep going. Okay, we're just going to keep going. It's a little bold for a transition shade, but, I mean, it did blend out, and I only dipped it in there like once. So, this one's pretty pigmented. It does look very smooth. It doesn't look cheap. It doesn't look dry or chalky. So, this one in the shade My Dear Nude, this one's a good one. So, I'm just going to try to blend out the edges a little bit with that big dense brush that we use with the marshmallow shade. So, that looks That looks pretty good. So now let's go into we're just going to do one shade darker. This is the Chow a la Cream. I don't really know how you pronounce it. This is the more taupey one. Can we show it? There we go. So this one has more of a purpley undertone to it. So this could also work as a transition. This one actually might be a little bit lighter than the other one. The other one that I just used, My Dear Nude, kind of went on a little bit darker than what I thought it would look. I'm not really seeing this one too much. I've already had to dip into this one like 3 times. So finally I'm starting to see this one. Maybe I just should have used this one as my transition. I think I went in the wrong order, but that's okay. But I am seeing the pigmentation now. Again, very sheer, extremely buildable. These are the most buildable shadows I've ever used, I think. Going in now to the bronzy shade Tiramisu. I'm gonna put this one on the outer V. So this is the one that is a shimmer. It's actually a satin finish though. Let's put Tiramisu right here in the outer V. Where is it? Where is it? I will say it definitely comes off as a matte shade, so I don't like this one though. It did deepen up the outer V a little bit, but I don't like this one. Okay, now I usually don't do this, but I just want to see how this matte black works as an eyeshadow to blend out in like the outer V and to deepen up the crease and stuff, and also how it works as an eyeliner. Usually I use matte blacks to smudge out my lash line. I usually don't use them as an eyeshadow to, you know, deepen up the crease or anything, but some people do, so I do want to test the waters with that one. This one, okay, and also, this is why I do my eyes first. Like, when you go in with foundation, it just cleans all that up. You don't have to be precise, because I don't like to be precise. It's stupid. So let's try to build this up a little bit more. Okay, there we go. I see it a little bit more now. That first round, though, oh my god, it blended out to nothing. It does smoke out. It does smudge out. Like, it's not too pigmented. That's usually why I don't use matte blacks, because they look like a black. I don't like that look. I feel like it's too harsh, especially for daytime. I'm gonna go into that first brown shade that we used. Which one was it? My Dear Nude. Let's go in and try to help me. Take a bigger brush this time. Now let's just go right on top of the matte black and try to... Oh, it looks so dirty. It looks like Britney Spears' makeup. P.S. Can someone get Britney Spears a new makeup artist? It looks like she's sleeping in her makeup every single night. Like, it just looks like she wakes up and is like, hello, I'm a raccoon. Someone please get that beautiful woman a new makeup artist. Can I do it? Because I think she might like my style, actually. I got that raccoon look going on right now, Brittany. You call me, girl. So, I think the last shade... No, I have 2 shades left. Crap. I have this, like, shimmery... This is a satin finish. I don't care what they say. This is not a shimmer. This is the shade Morning Freshness. This is that really light taupe. It's kind of like an icy taupe. And I'm not a psychic, but I'm pretty sure we're going to have the exact same experience with this one as Tiramisu. It's probably not going to even show up. So, let's just put this all over the eyelid. So yeah, this one is acting the exact same way. It's very much a satin finish, almost looks matte. So yeah, this definitely looks better when you wet the brush. When you wet the brush, it actually doesn't look too bad. It does add a little bit more shine to it. For me, I would say this is still a pass. So now we're up to the last shade, and like I said, I'm trying to use all the shades, which I've done successfully, I feel like. So now I have What Happens in Vegas, and that is the glittery shade. It's more like a golden. Can we focus? Focus! Again, I'm not a psychic, but I can guess that this is probably going to perform the exact same way as the others. So we're going to try it dry first. Yep, let's just do it wet. Let's just jump right to it, not waste any more time. So there's What Happens in Vegas. It does look better when you wet your brush. We've established that. We know that now. So the last step I'm going to do is go in and try to use this matte black as an eyeliner. It looks pretty good. Like, it actually does work pretty well. Let's go over to this side and do the same thing. Just tap it in. It works. It's fine. It's just not like, oh my god, that works so well. You know, it's just like, whatever. I forgot to use the broken one, and this is actually my favorite one. We'll go ahead and put some in the inner corner just to show you. I mean, I feel like this one, and it may be because it's broken, but I feel like this one works a lot better and it's more pigmented and less chunky than the other ones. You know what? Let's just go in with my finger and let's just put this all over this little ugly side. Just to see. See, I feel like this one does look a lot better. But again, is it extraordinary? No. And once again, that one's the shade Ballet Shoes. I feel like this one is the prettiest. Okay, guys, I know I said I wasn't going to complete an eye look, but this is obviously a different look. I took off everything. We're symmetrical now. But I do want to show you what it looks like with just the mattes, like the ones I liked. So I did use the Chow a la Cream, the lighter one that was kind of like more of like purpley taupe. I use that in the crease as a transition this time. It does work. It just doesn't show up a whole lot. I feel like they're better out there. But then I went in with My Dear Nude right below that in the crease and stuff. I really do like this shade. It's a very simple shade. I probably have something like this already in my collection, but I just love the way this blends out, and I love the fact that it's cool tone, but not too cool tone. Like there's a little bit of like a neutral aspect to it, because I cannot wear cool tone eye looks. It's very smoky. It smudges out really, really nicely. It's easy to blend out. This is definitely my favorite. And then I used the matte black lace, and I smudged out my lash line. And then I even went in just to use it, just to see what it would look like in a normal eye look. I used Morning Freshness, which was that icy satin kind of taupey shade, just in the inner corner, because it's not too shimmery, where this is an all matte look. I didn't want anything too shimmery. So it looks good for that, but I've got other shades in my collection that can do what this does. Yeah, I just want to give you that update, so back to the video. So I think you guys can figure it out that I'm not the biggest fan of these. Even the ones that do work for me, like, I have better in my collection. Comparing these to Makeup Geek or ColourPop or even my good Coastal Scents ones, like these just don't compare. Those are so much better and they're cheaper. So thank you all so much for watching. Thumbs up the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe to my channel. Have a little button right down there in the corner, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Mwah.